While Ford and Chevrolet were mute on many features of their 2019 trucks, Ram was absolutely gushing with information at the North American International Auto Show. Many new design features of the Ram can be found in the Ranger or in the Silverado, including reduced weight, fully boxed frames, aluminum tailgates, off-road packages with electronic rear differentials, large volume truck beds, more interior cab room, improved connectivity, LED lights and upper trims, improved aerodynamics, and smarter transmissions to improve power and efficiency. However, among the list of homogeneous features Ram wants to tell you about, there are some significant features worth discussing. Standout features that are often exclusive to Ram in the half-ton market, at least at the time we're videoing this. The biggest news in powertrain engineering is the segment-exclusive eTorque mild hybrid system on the second generation 3.6-liter Pentastar V6 and the 5.7-liter Hemi V8 engines. This system uses a belt drive motor generator unit with a 48-volt battery pack to power the start-stop function, and adds up to 90 pound-feet of torque to the 3.6-liter Pentastar and up to 130 pound-feet to the 5.7-liter Hemi. But before you get too excited, as I did, it doesn't add the extra torque at the top end, but instead augments the torque on startup and smooths out shifts between gears and during cylinder activation when it goes from, for instance, 4 to 8. All of this is integrated with the new TorqueFlite 8-speed transmission, which has 40 different shift schedules, as it recognizes requirements for payload, towing, downhill braking, and acceleration. Now, many auto start-stop systems use a specialized starter motor to achieve the feature, but Ram says this system, theirs, is faster and more reliable. As in other hybrid systems, the energy during braking is captured to recharge the battery, and when that isn't enough, with the engine running, the motor generator feeds 48-volt current to a 300-watt lithium-ion nickel manganese cobalt graphite battery. There is still a traditional starter motor for conditions that require it, for instance really cold temperatures or if there's icing on your belts. Now, naturally my mind drifted to the uses of a dual battery system built into the truck. I mean lights, winches, refrigerators, power tools, compressors, which is right about when the engineer turned pale and strongly recommended against any of those uses. Another class exclusive is in the heat exchanger system, which now warms the rear axle gear oil. Now this maximizes axle performance with a quicker warm-up. When you start your truck, coolant is circulated to the cabin first to warm that up depending on your temperature setting, and then it circulates it to the cavity in the 2-layer rear axle housing, warming up the gear oil. Not only does it warm up the gear oil on startup, but also helps cool the axle when you're carrying a payload or towing a trailer. The key numbers that many of us use to choose our pickup are as follows. 3.6-liter Pentastar, the V6, is rated at 305 horsepower, 269 pound-feet of torque. And the 5.7-liter Hemi is rated at 395 horsepower and 410 pound-feet of torque. Now these numbers, combined with other features like reducing the weight of the truck by 225 pounds, have really improved the payload and towing numbers to a staggering 12,750 pounds of towing capacity and 2,300 pounds of load. Keep in mind that the towing number is not for every configuration. You have to choose certain models and options to get there. For instance, you'll need the max tow package with a 3.92 final drive ratio, 2-wheel drive, and a 5.7-liter Hemi. Transfer cases and axles have also been upgraded to handle this extra load. The 4x4 off-road package is now available on virtually every trim. You get an extra 1-inch of lift in the suspension, either with or without the 4-corner air suspension system. You get a rear e-locker, 32-inch tires, skid plate protection, which includes the transfer case, steering, engine, and gas tank, and tow hooks. But to get the most off in your off-road, you need to get the Rebel. The Rebel gives you everything in the off-road package, but now you're upgraded to 33-inch tires. The air suspension is no longer standard as it was last year, but instead you get remote reservoir, Bilstein coil spring shocks, and a rear suspension biased towards off-road performance. The Ram box is still available, but now it comes with improved overhead LED task lighting and a 115-volt outlet. Finishing off the performance highlights are the new brakes. The front brake rotors are the largest in the segment at 14.9 inches, and the pads have also been increased, in this case by 18%. Ram engineers say they've improved the ride by reducing roll by 20%, using a number of different innovations including reduced frame vibration with active tuned mass modules, frequency response dampening shocks, and the front stay bar has been moved rearward 180 degrees. Now it's behind the front tire. The lower control arm is still aluminum, but the upper control arm is a steel nylon composite, Yeah, the short version of this is that Ram has built a stronger front end. How much better will it ride? We'll have to see after we test it. The air suspension has also been improved, most notably by including a load leveling feature, which rises the bed when you have heavy payload or tongue weight, and a key fob button to manually lower the truck 2 inches to ease loading and unloading of the bed and passengers. The interior has a couple of striking features. The optional 33.3 by 43.4 inch panoramic sunroof feels close to having a convertible, which is great for the folks in the front seats and a real treat for anyone in the rear. In fact, the rear is a lot more comfortable, as you can select optional cooling for the rear seats and a rear reclining feature, which is slight but noticeably more comfortable. Ram has extended the crew cab by 4 inches and put 2 of those inches in the rear of the cab. The fully configurable 12-inch UConnect touchscreen, which is optional in the Laramie and Longhorn and standard in the Limited, stands out from Ram's competitors. You can use the whole screen for one app, let's say navigation, or split it in half between 2 apps, for instance music and navigation. Aside from the practical applications, it gives the truck a truly 21st century feel, reminiscent of my first drive in a Tesla. At the time we write this, Ram hadn't provided anyone with fuel economy or pricing numbers, but I suspect you'll be able to get these soon, as you can buy one of these and put it in your driveway by the end of March 2018. That's it for now for the Ram 1500. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button, and if you want to see some more, please hit subscribe. And don't forget to leave your comments below. We've got some good choices now between the Ford F-150, the Silverado, and the new Ram 1500. Which one would you take? Let us know in the comments below.